Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live Q&A with the legend that is Mr. Chris Palmer. Down there, just search for Chris Palmer SEO or whatever you want to search for. I'm sure you'll find them. Also, do check out Niche Website Builders. Link is below. If you're interested in done-for-you affiliate websites or little bits in between, if you want content, whatever, they can help you with as much or as little as you possibly need. So do check them out. But more importantly, do ask your questions here. We are here to answer your questions. So please let us know who you are, where you're from, what questions you've got. Put them all in the live chat over there, and we will go through them as fast as we possibly can, as and when they come in. So ping them over as well. But Chris, while we're waiting for people to come in, what's new in the world of Chris Palmer? What new shit are you doing?
Still setting up more sites. Nailed in that process. I mean, we're cranking out anywhere between 30 and 50 a day. So that's been very time consuming, putting people in place, running tests. So that's been fun. Picking up some new, really good clients. So I've been doing that. So yeah, it's doing some client work, setting up sites, running tests. Yeah, and then little Chris, so wrestling, eating pizza. I'm having fun, man.
Does little Chris like Spider-Man?
Loves Spider-Man. Absolutely.
Oh, man. My little guy is obsessed with Spider-Man as well, but it's driving me crazy now. Dude, he's just everything about Spider-Man. Miles Morales. Oh, dude. Gwen Stacy. It's driving me crazy, man.
I love it. I have the full run. I got him hooked on Spider-Man. I have the full run from number 1 all the way. Amazing Spider-Man.
Do you play the Spider-Man game online or the PlayStation?
No, not generally.
It's an addictive game as well, man.
What is it on? Xbox or PlayStation?
You get it for either or, but it's a really good game. I got hooked
Do you get
on
to
it.
go fly?
Yeah, you can swing around all the buildings. You get to get different suits and stuff like that. So my little guy's obsessed. He's only 3, but dude, he can swing around on this shit like you wouldn't believe. It's insane.
So he's playing video games?
Yeah.
I tried to, dude, my little guy, I tried not to, but he's like, you go in there, he likes the Marios, and then I'm struggling, and they're just, as soon as they get it, it's like intuitive for them. You notice that?
It's
I'm almost 40, and I'm like, struggling with it.
My little guy can scroll through YouTube. He can find all the videos. He can play on a phone. He can play his little Nintendo Switch, and now he's on the PlayStation. So it's mad. It's mad.
Took me a year to figure out the stuff, and they just go on there and it's funny, man. Kids. My favorite.
Yes, Nerdy Romero. That is the Miles Morales one. I got it him for Christmas. Dude, the thing is, my little guy's obsessed with it and wants to do all the missions. And me and him are in there fighting. The wife can hear us. She just laughs. We're like, no, it's my shot. No, it's my shot. I got addicted to it as well, man. It's crazy. But it's fun. But it's driving me crazy now. So, yeah, enough of Spider-Man. Give us some SEO questions. I don't want to talk about Spider-Man. I want SEO things to answer. John from Marbella says questions are coming soon. So, guys, I know a lot of you earwig, but we need questions to answer. So, someone give us questions. But, Chris, while we're waiting for those questions, have you any questions you want me to answer?
Regarding maybe something. Yeah, I do, but I kind of want to save them though. But why? What's up?
No, I'm just asking if you had anything you wanted answered, because I know you mentioned it last week. I
wanted to get with you. I've been tied. Yeah, actually, I'm I want to launch out a couple new projects, test/investment projects. Like I keep noticing a lot of high traffic. They're getting a lot of traffic, but it's like, why do I see so many of them? For instance, like dog sites, right? Animal sites. If you're seeing an influx of sites that are performing very well with traffic, why would there be so many? Is that a clear indicator that, oh, this is trashola?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think there's just certain niches out there. Actually, I was on a call yesterday with niche website builders, and they analysed 5,000 websites, and they looked at the niches, the metrics, the traffic, the rankings, all that stuff, and they got a data scientist to go through it. And one of the top niches that they see a lot of traffic and a lot of success in is the food niche, or the kind of pet or animal or dog niche or whatever. I just think these are popular because there is a lot of guys that are obsessed with, their animals and stuff like that. So I think for me, it's just that's what people are interested in. It's not obscure, because we're always looking for the next obscure niche where it's untapped. But I think pets and stuff, fucking half the population have got pets, so it's one of those ones where I think if you're going to get into anything, why wouldn't it be about pets or food or travel?
Something big.
And I think these are very common ones. When we looked at the data yesterday, the travel industry was another one where it's relatively decent traffic and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's just easier. It's kind of generic. It's a good starting point for a lot of people. So why not?
It
so
is
I don't
generic.
know.
I see a lot of them. Like there is a lot, and they're getting heavy traffic, but it's like, where's the cut at? And I know I don't want it to be anything physical. I know I want it to be something digital, definitely affiliate, clearly. Is there, you remember last week you mentioned that there's some clear losers that you ran into? What are some clear losers?
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand the seasonal and the basic, the basic stuff, but what about some other things to look out for?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's some clear losers. Obviously, I entered the golf niche, which was a clear loser for me, because of the loser products that I put up on the website. Not for anything else. I went after all the, the golf balls, the golf t-shirts, the golf everything. So I think it wasn't that the niche was a loser niche. It was the way that I approached it at that time, where I didn't really think about the price of the product. So I just wanted to rank for golf this, golf that, everything to do with golf, and then realized that the average sale value was like $12 or whatever it was. So and then it was seasonal. So I just got rid of the website and ducked out of that niche. So I think there is no such thing as a niche that I would consider to be a kind of loser niche. I just think you have to look at the higher ticket items within a niche. So, don't go after the bottom of the barrel, £10 products. Go after, when it comes to golf, I could have sold golf clubs. I could have sold golf trolleys. And certainly golf technology. There's a lot of other things there that would have made me a lot more money. So even if it was seasonal, I could have still made more money in that niche. So it's probably unfair for me to sit there and say there are loser niches, because I think over the years of traveling and meeting people, I've been surprised by many niches where people make some real money and good money at that. And some bizarre things that I would have never thought of. So I don't know if there's a loser niche. It was just a loser approach that I had. And I think that is what ultimately failed, because I had this thing, content.
Right.
And I was just, trying to crank out as much content as I could without thinking of the the price of the products or the items that I was trying to sell. I'm just like, yeah, I can get 50 articles a month out of my content writer or whatever.
That's right.
So I'm thinking about it all wrong. So I think it's a mindset, and it was me that was the problem rather than it being a loser niche is the point I'm trying to make. So
is that not the objective though, to crank up content production?
No, I don't think so. I mean, yes and no would be the answer. Yes, if you've got a website and you're starting out, of course, quite an aggressive content strategy would have to be done. But no matter what website I've got, Chris, 80 or 90% of the traffic comes from 10 or 20 pages. So, and I know for a fact, you go to your highest performing website right now and you tell me that you don't only have 10 or 20 pages driving almost all of the fucking traffic. So is it the right strategy to crank out content after content after content after content? The answer is no, it's not. I think at the start, it has to be that way. But I think people continue in that vein. They're eating up their crawl budget. That they're not focusing on those 10 or 20 pages that are performing really well and doing CRO on them, adding to them, adding a video, adding more content. So I think content pruning is an important thing, taking away the shit that gets no impressions. So when you ask that question, I think that's wrong. I think cranking out content would be the wrong thing to do in the long term.
Interesting. Content pruning.
Let's say, Chris, you throw out 50 articles just now. 10 of them will do really well. There's another 40 that do shit. End of story. Now, what do? You can merge some of them together. You can, whatever. But you're going to have to get rid of them. If they're not getting any impressions or any traffic, you're wasting your fucking time. Get them to work. They're draining your link equity. So, get them off is what I would say. So,
is there a happy medium? Like, clearly you want, the highest ticket the highest ticket possible, but there has to be a certain point though. Like if it's $1,000 bill, I'm going to think a lot more before I just go buy it from a random site, right? Or even click through or do anything. So have you found a happy medium with price point?
Not really. I can't say that I've found a happy medium. And the reason for that is even with my most successful website, the average order value is pretty shit, if I'm being honest. But even if you were selling items at $1,000, cameras and stuff like that, high spec cameras or whatever, there are a huge amount of people buying that stuff up. So I don't think there is a specific price point. If someone's searching for, whatever, the Sony camera for webcams or whatever, you're probably likely going to be looking for that camera to buy it. So I think the intent, the conversion rate and everything else for certain searches, it is what it is. But I don't think there's a perfect figure out there. Obviously, if you want sheer volume, go cheap. But, that's a slog. That's an old slogan. It's like when you do client work, Chris. When you start out and you're doing your client work for $100 a month or whatever, and you've got hundreds of clients, that's a fucking slog, and you can't scale up. And then as you start to realize shit, you would rather work with 5 clients that pay you $5,000 a month than 100 clients, and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's the same when it comes to SEO and products and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to be selling thousands of products. Well, of course you do want to sell thousands of products, but the reality is there's probably a top 10 or 20 bunch of sellers on there that generate the real revenue. So that's where I like to focus my time on, man.
And just one last little thing. I know we're supposed to answer their questions, and I will, but I have one more off the top. Now, I mentioned this last week when we spoke privately about a network versus individual. An individual, it's a higher pay, and I completely understand that. But with you know how people are when they're searching for stuff? They might visit 10 sites and not buy from yours, right?
Yep.
And the reason why I kind of like, not saying Amazon, but there's other platforms out there where, you know, there's 10 different sites that sell this camera. And if it hits any of these 10 sites, I still get credit. Where if I'm only pitching, you know, Circuit City, they have to go to Circuit City for me to get paid.
Yeah.
So is there, you know, is it still a better option not to use the, you know, a network? So I can't get, like, that's why Amazon's good. Like, I drop the cookie, they go buy dog food, I get a cut.
Yeah.
You know, like I have that stupid PlayStation site. Like, they're buying everything but video game stuff, and I'm getting paid on it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's a cookie drop thing with Amazon. You know, regardless of what that person buys, within 24 hours, you're getting the credit for it. And yes, you could argue that, you know, going with an affiliate network is going to help you. You know, you're potentially getting 10 stabs at the commission. I think it's something you have to try and test. I'm not going to sit here and say affiliate networks are dog shit, because they're not. Clearly, the people make money and stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, for what I do affiliate on, in terms of SaaS products and everything else, it doesn't make sense for me. I'd rather go direct. However, I know people that have got Amazon. So I know someone who used to sell cookers. And now this particular individual had Amazon buttons. Then they had a company called AO, who also sells stuff. They also had buttons for John Lewis. So they had 3 private affiliates as buttons on the page. So if someone wants to check out a couple, they can do that. But like you say, you could just go with a network, and if anyone hits any of them, you get a commission. So it's kind of the same thing. And as I say, something that you'd have to try and test. It really depends on the product and stuff that you're selling. But I think having more opportunities to make more money is a no-brainer. But you're giving away a big percentage of the commission to the middleman. So what's the right one? What's the wrong one? It's not for me to say. Not for me to say. Anyway, we've got some questions here. Is that water? And are you okay? From Ryan Durrani.
Yeah, a little water. I already had my little G Fuel action going on. These are really good, man. G Fuel. They're good. Very good.
Fuck that. G Fuel. The name alone puts me off.
I like it.
Thomas the Train, Toys and More. When will the description for Palmer's specialty services be listed?
Yeah, I was making the videos to better explain them. I'm going to utilize video. I think it's much better. Up within the next day or so, probably have them up. Yep, got some specialty services now. You know, like special services.
Harry Minge, just for Ryan Durrani, who thinks this is hilarious. Chris, I made a brochure PDF and submitted it to 100 PDF host sites with Fiverr. It has a link to the money site. What is the safest way to make some natural links to this 100 PDF sites for Google to discover them?
I mean, are you going to have those individual places? I mean, how much power is that going to generate for you? You know, I mean, I'm sure it was very inexpensive service, but if they're going to distribute your PDF on those sites, you're going to get the URL of where it's hosted. I know if you search .pdf in quotes, I mean, those suckers show up in the search results, right? But are they passing power? Some sites do, some sites don't. So figure out the sites that are actually passing. Get those URLs and then go whack those sites with links. I mean, if you're going to do it, that's what I would do. It's been a long time since I've distributed PDFs, though.
Just because it's no longer worth it, or can't be asked, or you think it's still effective?
It's just not part of the strategy. I mean, once I don't know. once I was able to get niche specific domains and figure out that process, it's just a no-brainer. Like the cost, the effectiveness, you don't need as much. It's far less work. It's cheaper. It's faster. I like cheap, fast, right? So what's the fastest, cheapest way to reach the finish line? That's what it's all about, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you're gonna do it, get the sites, figure out where the URLs are, see if it's passing or not. If it's yes or no, is it showing up? Hit those URLs. That's what I would do if I was gonna do it.
Yeah.
What do you think about PDFs?
I don't bother my ass with them anymore. PDFs was something maybe back in 2011 that I used to spend a lot of time on and stuff like that, but not so much anymore. Not disputing that they get ranked, and I think there was a chap, Terry Power, who was at SEO Underground, who was talking about his PDF strategy and his belief that that's the way to do things. It's just never been part of my overall way of doing things. Is that a big needle mover? No, as far as I'm concerned. But hey, who am I to say that? Everyone's got their own secret formula. That isn't part of mine. Is all I'm going to say. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it's a lot of fucking grind for whatever you're going to get out of it. Is what I'm going to say. So
fair enough.
Nerdy Romero, in that vein, if you put up 10k SERP shaker pages after the dust settles, would you remove 8k that get no traffic? So, Chris, you do mass page build. You've done mass page websites, right?
I have. Yes.
Do you remove the shit that gets no traffic?
Well, all of them will get a trickle usually because it's going to be released in batches. And when I did do it, when we were doing in batches of 50, we would go back in and retune. So a lot of them wouldn't perform. None of them would, maybe some of them would be 0, but no, we'd just leave it. It's mass. I mean, I didn't care, but we were retuning and doing batches of 50. So, some of them did very low numbers, but not that many were 0. If it's completely 0, it shouldn't be, in your page. It shouldn't be there. I don't think. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't remove them all now.
Yeah, if it gets nothing, it's not offering value. But what I would also say, and I'm not wanting to drop the niche or anything, but I've got a good friend of mine who has mass page websites. Now, obviously, if you look at SEMrush or whatever on this guy's website, it will show you that he gets little to no traffic. Now, is that the case? Absolutely not. This guy gets hundreds of leads a day because SEMrush and all these other kind of tools can't pick up the kind of very local, very niche specific search terms. So there's not enough data there for the SEMrush and all that kind of stuff to suggest that they're getting, it's getting decent traffic or whatever. But there's always someone in a specific area probably looking for those services, and if you remove them, you're not going to rank that well. Obviously you're not going to rank that well. So would I remove 8,000 of 10,000 pages? Probably not in that vein, because I think in general, Nerdy Romero, mass page, the SERP shaker strategy it's a numbers game. It's a mass spam game. Would I go to the trouble of trying to remove 8,000 of them? Absolutely not. I think, with a website, for sure, do it, if it's a proper website. But for that particular thing, I would just leave it be. More hassle than it's worth trying to pull 8,000 pages down.
Plus, mass pages, is that a quality strategy or is that a mass strategy?
Yeah, there's no quality in mass page. Surely to God, it's just mass attack. And some shit will stick, some won't. Just the nature of the game, right?
That's it.
But, Backy, I want to ask about search intent. Is it a myth? because sometimes we make a search in a keyword and see that the top 3 ranked pages are telling different things to each other than what is search intent. So is it a myth? Is it a thing? Is that a thing in every fucking niche? You know.
Yeah, but you have to remember, though, query deserves diversity, right? So Google's going to show varying results. So that's normal. But also the intent is, if Google's rewarding homepages, you better be trying to rank your homepage. If it's a blog post, blog post. But if one's a top 10 and this one's an about and this one's varying titles of the page, you're going to see that. So do I think that search intent is a myth? No. I think there's informational, transactional, commercial. I think there's different types of content. And I do think that Google's going to reward informational content in informational SERPs. So no, it's not a myth. And there's going to be variation because QDD. And make sure that you're getting the right page. So again, if it's a blog, make sure you have a blog. But the title of the URL, the title of the page doesn't necessarily matter. They could be talking about different things, but serving the intent,
Yeah. Makes sense. ZD Electrical is here. Good to see you doing. Emmanuel, where the content of the pages AI content? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Is that something you were talking about, Chris?
Well, when we were doing the 50 at a pop, it was AI. It was actually a custom AI. Yeah, it was AI.
Cool. Hopefully that answers your question. If that's not what you meant, Emmanuel, please give us a little bit more context and we will come back and answer it as best we can. Charlie Drives. Client of mine has 2 strong pages generating most of the traffic for multiple words. Why doesn't the rest of the 50 or so pages with more specific keywords get ranked as well? Is that down to poor site structure?
Well, that could be one piece of the equation is, what's the structure like? How's the internal linking? What about the anchor text pointing into the site and to those pages? The internal anchor text, what's that? What are you telling Google about yourself, right? But I think like the linking, the structure, the internal linking, what's the navigation? What about the re-optimization of the pages? Like there's so much there, man. That's a lot to unpack, Charlie. That could be anything. Yeah, that's a big one.
Bloody hell. I've just noticed something else just there while we were talking. Twitter are now official businesses have a yellow tick rather than a blue tick. I've just noticed that there. Instagram themselves have got a yellow tick which says this account is verified because it's an official business on Twitter. So I am a blue tick because I'm notable in the government news or entertainment. Not sure about that, but there's yellow ticks now in Twitter, guys. Just thought I'd share that. Mad.
How'd you get a blue tick?
What?
How'd you get a blue tick?
You have to join Twitter Blue. You can get it for like $8 a month.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
That's just a new thing, though. Are you going to get one?
No, not necessary. I'm not really a big fan of Twitter, to be honest.
Likewise.
I like LinkedIn, YouTube, Reddit. Facebook.
Not a fan of Reddit either. I've just never get into Reddit, but I probably should. But hey, fuck it. It is what it is.
I like it.
Dune is trying out GPT now and using for Q&As on GBP.
There you go.
Good to be testing, Dune. Good to be testing, mate.
I always like taking them from top performers in other cities. So say you're a plumber, right? You're going to do a review. I'm in Chicago. I'll go to LA and grab whatever the most relevant review is and just do a little rewrite. That's what I like.
When you say a little rewrite, this does that mean spinning?
No,
Is
that means yeah.
What are you doing? Come on.
Well, if they mentioned any
a
names,
couple of
brand
words?
names, basically, if there was a location, brand name, or a name mentioned, I would change it to make it more relevant. But everything else I would leave the same. Also, too, if we're talking about Google business profiles, if I'm looking down the list in my category, if I see bolded terms in the reviews, I might add a few extra of those in order to make the review a little bit more relevant. Because you ever notice that those bolded terms, actually, you can click them and they've been assigned an M code, an entity code.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I mean. That's little rewrite.
So that's what that means.
Yep.
Just so we know.
Yeah, now you know.
But custom AI, are they different? Are they different from the content created by AI content tools? So I'm assuming that's relating to you.
It was nowhere near GPT-3, right? It was just a gentleman that I knew. He made his own little AI, right? I think it was far less superior to GPT-3, though. But very, very, close, but not as good. That's all. It was a glorified spinner, basically. And then different content created by AI tools. That's all.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I've been racking my brains for a while and trying to explain in less than 200 characters. Yeah. But, guys, keep your questions coming. We still have 29 minutes left of the show. If you are listening, let us know if you've got any questions, because there's a lot of easywiggers on here. And yeah, it's quite a quiet one today. I don't know if people are switching off for Christmas or winding down for Christmas. When do you actually stop, Chris? All work. Like I know you're probably never going to stop work, but when do you allegedly stop work? Dealing with phone calls and shit like that.
You mean like daily or for Christmas?
For Christmas.
Well, the 23rd. So Friday the 23rd, I'll probably the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, I'll probably just hang out.
Why not? Why not? And then get back to it, crank out some videos.
1,000%. Yeah, it's been a hectic week. I slowed down a little bit this week only because of work, but I'll be back on. No doubt.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Just curious, are we still doing our lives? Because Christmas is on a Sunday this year. Boxing Day's on a Monday. Are you doing anything on the Wednesday between Christmas and New Year? Or do you want to continue?
So Wednesday the 28th?
Yeah.
No, that'll be back to business as usual, unless you're off, unless you're doing something.
I will happily do it, mate. I think consistency, and as long as it doesn't interrupt anyone's holidays, then I'm happy to do it. So, yeah, we will do it. Bash through it. Emmanuel needs advice on domain flipping. What are the best steps to take when starting out? So, Emmanuel, what do you mean by domain flipping? You have a website, it's making money and all that stuff, or that's the goal, that's the end goal. I'm not sure what you mean. What do you take from that question, Chris?
I need advice on domain flipping. What are the best steps to take starting out? Well, kind of like what we were talking about before. I think narrowing down the right niche for resale, have resale in mind, would be a proper step. Like, hey, if resale is the goal, that means be mindful of the links you're building, be mindful of the content you're producing. Is it evergreen? Do I have to keep updating it? Have the end goal in mind. I think is a proper step. Also, too, I would plan out that content strategy. I think there's a lot of steps or precautions to take. Get your budget right. Know it's going to take longer than you think. I don't know, but that's what I take from it.
Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough.
But that's a huge question in a short sentence.
Yeah, it is. Another question from the man himself, Mr. Dean Signori. Good to see you, Dean. Power Suite SEO has a lifetime discount offer right now. I've never used it. I have SEMrush and Ahrefs along with many others. Does it serve a purpose? So should Dean be using SEO Power Suite on top of what he's already got?
I haven't used Power Suite since 2019. I think was the last time I was in there. So I don't utilize it. So I can't say. I'm sorry.
Do you use it? Where you used it for though, Chris? Nah, I don't use it.
Like a site checkup, like a little on-page tool, is what they had.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
I mean, I've seen SEO Power Suite around, and I know it's been a tool that's been around the industry for a long, long time. It's never been one that I've actually taken the time to play with. I have heard people talk. What I will say, Dean, is I've never heard anyone talking badly about it. I haven't ever heard anyone saying, this is shit. But my question would be, what does it do that SEMrush or Ahrefs doesn't? And if it does have a unique selling point that is doing something different, then happy days, grab it. And if it's doing the same old shit, then maybe not. But I don't know. What I will also add to that is I don't know a lot of people that use it. It's not a frequently used tool from the people that I know anyway. But I don't want to criticize someone's tool that I've not used. So hopefully that helps, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
So it's given up. It looks like they've added quite a bit of things. It's a tracker, an analyzer.
Huh. Here's the thing, right? I'll give you a story. I used to only use SEMrush. Now, I've had Ahrefs. I stopped using it. I went to SEMrush, used it for years and years and years, and I heard other people going, Ahrefs this, Ahrefs that, and I'm like, nah, it's shit, it's shit, it's shit. And then one day, I was sitting in a friend's office, and he pulled up his Ahrefs account, and he's looking at all this stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, can we look at this? Can we look at that? Can we look at that? And I'm like, inside my head, I'm going, Craig, you are an ignorant bloody so-and-so. You've just dismissed Ahrefs based on what you've seen 3 years ago. It has developed. It has got more stuff on it. So, and I kick myself for that. So what I would say is if these things, anyone who's got tools that have stood the test of time, like SEO Power Suite has, I'm pretty sure that there's got to be some form of value in there. And like you say, there might be new functions and new features on there that make it stand out from the crowd. So, Nerdy Romero, Power Suite, you have to renew updates every year.
Right. Yeah. I just noticed that.
So, SEO. So, is it the website auditor you're using, Chris, or were using?
It was an auditor. That's pretty much about it.
Cool. I know they've got that link assistant. I think I've looked at that in the past a long time ago. But yeah, I've not looked.
I like SEMrush. I don't really use the on-page tools with SEMrush though. Do you?
Nah.
Just link analysis. Basically keyword research.
Keyword research and just having a nosy around competitors and what they're up to. So I think some of the kind of paid analysis is quite good as well on there. And you can look at the ad copy, but yeah, not so much on page, but yeah, it is what it is. But Emmanuel didn't mean domain flipping, so he meant buying an expired or aged domain, then selling it later without working on it at all. I'm not sure that's possible. You've got to do some form of work, or someone has to, Emmanuel. So niche website builders, the link is below, is something that, if you want to just invest cash into something and do no fucking work, niche website builders is for you. They can do it all for you. They very much, can help you with looking for age domains and all that kind of stuff as well. Is there such a thing as grabbing an expired domain and doing little to no work? I think that's a myth. I think, like anything, you've got to put a bit of grind in, or your team has to put a bit of grind in. Someone has to be doing some work. Content, links, all of that kind of good stuff have to happen. So you can take advantage of an expired domain or an age domain and leverage for all it's worth, but there still is work required. But it's a very good business model and something I would encourage anyone to do. But check them out. If you don't want to invest money, if you only want to invest money and you don't have time, that's fine. Then Niche Website Builders is the service for you. Chris, this guy here, CBD Flowers UK, even he has paid for Twitter Blue, and he's tighter than you. So, dude, it might be time to invest that $8 a month. So,
I don't know. Yeah. What's the advantage?
Come on. Trust.
Okay, but I don't know. But it's evident that it's $8 a month. I know that didn't you have the blue check before the $8 deal though?
Yeah.
So that was different. Like you saw that, it's like, oh, that's cool, right? But
yeah,
I can't see a advantage to having it now if it's going to cost me money. The barrier of entry is $8. So yeah, I'm good.
So Emmanuel, let's ask you the question. What do you see when you see a blue tick? Do you not go, oh, that person must know what they're doing? That I might be wrong with that, but I'm curious to know is there any value in your opinion, Emmanuel, from having that blue tick? Is it a trust signal? Is it an ego thing for yourself? Is it something else? I don't know. Listen, I think anyone with anyone can pay. Yeah, anyone can now pay £8 and get the tick. So like Chris said, it is kind of devalued itself having that tick. It's not what it once was, but I'm pretty sure that little blue tick next to your name, Chris, is always a little good thing going, yeah, I'm someone.
No, but like stuff with you, like you had, like you were able to do the videos on LinkedIn. Like that's cool. You had the blue check. You have, I think you even have it on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like see that? The barrier of entry is much harder, right? That's like, oh yeah, that to me is like a trust thing, right? Like that, I'm like, oh man, that guy's doing it, right? So yeah, man, I don't know about the blue check. I'll pass. $8. That's like I could buy more G Fuel with that.
Oh man. So Emmanuel has said he used to trust information and updates from a blue ticked account, but now no chance. So fair point. And as I say, Emmanuel, life is all about opinions, and for what it's worth, I think yours is correct in this instance. So I'm on Chrissy's side, but it's still nice to see the blue tick next to your name.
For sure. I got that finally. You're the one that put the fire under my butt for that LinkedIn. Dude, I went in there like 4 times. I wrote I wrote it out, baby. I wrote a good one of why, you have to sign up and see if they accept you. I was very proud. I got it. I like it, man. That was because of you. Yeah.
Is that still not easily accessible? Because
well,
they turn like all my live streams.
It took me a year. It took me a year. It took a year. I literally submitted 4 times to get it. So, I mean, I don't know if they've changed anything. I've had it now, but not everybody can. And then right when you're on the profile, it's huge right above. If you're live or whatnot, it's like right there. Bam. You know, it's cool.
Yeah. I think it's always good to try and get these things, take up more space on the internet and get your face out there. Maeve is here. Hey guys.
Hey, Maeve.
Guys, we have 15 minutes left. We need more questions. Give us questions, Maeve, and Emmanuel, and anyone else out there. Give us your questions. It's a slow bunch today. I don't know what's going. Do you know what it is, Chris? Christmas party week. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, I'm sure some people are probably off. Who knows? I mean, it's a little bit before Christmas. Don't a lot of people usually get a week off or something? Yeah. Who knows?
2 weeks you normally get.
I know businesses right now are trying to run through cash before the end of the year. So maybe everybody's working. Right?
Yeah.
How much power do you think is... Oh, sorry. What was that?
I never said it.
Oh, what's your opinion on how much power do you think is lost when linking through an internal page? So if I point a link to, say, I have 3 supporting pieces of content, I'm linking over to the primary service page. What if you had to give a number? How much do you think is actually lost there? Think not much? Do you think a lot? Half? 20%? What do you think?
God, man, that's a fucking horrible question, Chris. How much would be lost? I would be wildly guessing, because it's not even something I gave much consideration, but I can't see it being as much as 20%. That would be absolutely ridiculous, would it not? I think, you're going to lose something. You're obviously linking out to something else, but surely, it would be like 5, maybe tops. But I might be completely wrong with that.
So if I go out there and build a, DR40 with 1,000 referring domains, I build it to a blog page. That blog page is internally linked over to my service page. You're thinking maybe there's a loss. It's almost like me building a link directly over. There's a loss of maybe 5%.
Yeah. I don't think it's any more than that. I can't see it being more than that, but I might be thinking about it all fucking wrong. That's the other thing.
If you were using internal buffer pages, or however you want to look at it, would you trim off the navigation in the footer and just make the link over?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that way not to diminish too much. Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, what do I know? That's the thing. No one can answer that one. It's crazy.
I have a gem that I learned. I'll share. So something I learned about tracking 2 penalties. I realized that definitely it's page by page. I'm sure there's other penalties, but something I realized is if you get a penalty on a page, let's say the page is for New York plumbers, right? Mm-hmm. If I just create another New York plumber page, that page, no matter what you do, links, super optimized, like it's literally the same page. You changed one little thing, right? But it's not the page that has the penalty. If you build another page that's targeting the same keyword as a penalty page on your website, that page won't rank. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of. I would have assumed that. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I didn't. I was like, who cares? Let's just build a new one. We'll make it look just like that one. We'll change the slug, change the URL. Mm-hmm. No dice. Does not work. Interesting, right?
Yeah, but that, back in the day, when you got penalties and you then try to move over to a new domain, that shit worked all the time. But I would make the assumption that Google cannot continue to allow that to happen. It's I'll tell you off air. I don't want to share the URL. Now, what I did see, and this was like last year, had a person build up a website and it got a slap. It wasn't a manual penalty. It just got fucking slapped algorithmically. Website fell off a cliff, could not recover it. It tried for 3 or 4 months, couldn't recover it. So done the whole domain switch over thing. And we got up very, very quickly and then slapped back down within 2 months. But I would make the assumption that Google are just not going to let you even get up anymore. You're just going to be slapped down. I mean, obviously, again, I don't know. I can only go by experiences and what I've seen. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me, what you've just said there, man.
Yeah, it's odd. I even tried a variation. Still, it's almost like that block of keywords for your site until you've cleaned that up. Dead. It's like they just throw a filter on you. It's it's weird.
Well, listen, it's hard to shake off, and it is what it is. But why not? If you're going to be a jackass and do things that they don't like, then fuck it.
You get. Yeah.
Are you going to let someone who pisses you off in the street in your front door? Absolutely not. And it's the same thing, isn't it? Really.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, how do you research your clusters, Chris, to get complete clusters?
I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, basically, if I'm even going to consider that, I'm looking for informational-based terms to support the primary service page. So if you want to look at that as a cluster or a silo, I'm looking to answer the informational queries based on the primary service that I'm promoting. Then I'm building links to the informational query pages. That's it. So how am I building that out or getting it, perfect? Maybe it's not, but I'm looking to get 3 to 5 informational-based queries to support the main page I'm trying to rank. That's what I do. That's what I do, but that's local. I don't know if you're doing local, but that's what works for me.
But what I would say on top of that, a cluster doesn't have to be, Chris is saying between 3 and 5 supporting articles. A cluster, and the one that I always share when I'm doing talks at events, is podcasts is the main core topic. And off of that, you might have comedy podcasts, business podcasts. You might have a whole bunch of stuff which would be seen as supporting articles, which internally link into the core topic. So it's no different from what you're doing, Chris. What I would say, though, is a cluster doesn't have to be between 3 and 5 articles. It could be 25. You've got comedy podcasts, self-help podcasts. You've got so many other things. And if it's relevant, your cluster can become a big thing, and it can be added to as well. So I think, like you say, though, it's good to go with some kind of figure. And I think, if you're going with 3 to 5 to begin with, Chris, happy days, if it's working. So
yeah, I was doing 1. I switched. I asked, they have like a private chat. I got that off Kyle, and he's like, we're doing 3 to 5. I was like, all right. I was doing 1 supporting piece and then feeding the links to the supporting piece. And that works fine for propping up the service page. But the overall amount of keywords it will rank for regarding a particular service drastically goes up once you cross that threshold. Once you hit that 3, 4, 5, you pick up so much more keywords.
Here is the thing. How do you know when you've done enough? When there's nothing else to write about, when there's nothing else to help with that topic. If you've covered everything that you want to cover and want to rank for and drive traffic for, then you've done enough. If you've not, and there's loads of other ideas and other content out there, keep adding.
Yeah. Usually we've done 6 or 7, but usually if there's a volume of 50 and it answers a question about the service, we'll do a page. No problem.
What are clusters? Emmanuel asks. What's your best silo structure, cluster? Call it what you like, Emmanuel. A cluster of pages on a topic. So, I don't know how to say any better than that, but it's. Is there any other way to say it better, Chris?
No, it's a bunch of pages answering as many questions as possible regarding a primary page. No, I like that blanket term, cluster. It's a cluster of keywords. That's it. It's content. What do you call it? Keyword clusters? Topic clusters? Silo?
Dude, everyone.
What's
silo,
the term?
Dude, people keep saying to me, I call it a topical cluster. A lot of people call it silo. A lot of people call it all different shit, and you're like, yeah, it's just a silo. It's a whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like everyone from different parts of the world call it different things. So it's just a whole bunch of pages targeting your keywords and all the long tail variations around about it.
That's the definition. A bunch of pages targeting keywords.
That's what you tell the guy down the pub who knows nothing about what you do. It's easier just to explain it like that. Emmanuel has a question. I'm not sure we can answer it, but maybe you can, Chris. What's the average internal links required for a page? Is there an average where you're saying to your people it's got to be between 3 and 5 or whatever it might be?
I mean, it's usually if there's a silo, if I'm trying to rank New York Plumber and I have, 3 pages underneath, I'm usually going to link at least 3 times on those supporting pieces of content back to the New York Plumber page. Header, footer, body. So I would say the average is probably around 3, but sometimes there's going to be more. Depends.
Yeah.
At least 3. Try to get 3.
But I don't think it's something you should overdo. Be careful, because a lot of people do internal links for the sheer hell of doing internal links, and potentially do it for because some guy down the pub said that was the right thing to do. You want to be internally linking to the right places. So do it strategically. Don't just piss in the wind. Yeah. But Tanvir Ahmed, for a new blogger, should I create social media accounts for getting traffic, or is it better to create quality and quantity of blog posts? So a new blogger, Chris, new website, not good social media. Do you focus on writing more content, or are you going to build a real business with real social media profiles? What's the answer?
Well, Blogger to me is like the Blogger platform, but let's say it's a blog website. I would be looking to tie that to an entity. So having the social media, maybe even have it like whoever's writing the articles, I would create that persona, so yeah, create the persona, create the social media profiles. I think creating an entity around that blog is going to be massively impactful for the overall campaign. Like, hey, this is Sarah Gavin, and she writes about whatever you're writing about, Yeah, I think it's going to be helpful for you overall.
Hopefully that helps you, Tanvir. Probably the last question of today from Camille. I've read some case studies that shows Google can detect GPT-3 content. What do you think about the advantages and threats of using AI content, Chris?
So I'm testing this myself. So Google has multiple teams. The ad team is different than the search team. And if you're answering the query, Google doesn't care, right? So however you get to the best answer is how you get to the best answer for search results. Now, they've clearly implemented something. The team members for the ads have clearly implemented something that, they're kicking out some of the ads. So yeah, that's all I can say about that. So do I think that they're probably watching a little harder on some of the ads? Yeah, I do. Do I think that they're as strict in search? No, I do not.
Interesting. I can't really say. I pretty much agree with what you've just said there. I think a lot of people are going to be scared to touch AI content as well, because obviously a lot of people are playing around with it. You see a lot of the stuff, and then you got all these myths and stuff spread around in social media. Can you use it as part of your process? I think you can. I don't think it's not the fact that they can detect GPT-3 content. I think it's the fact that whether that content actually serves the purpose of what's intended there. So it can be used. I don't think we can ever replace human beings anywhere in the next couple of years anyway. But it's interesting. And yeah, but AI assisted content is what I'd probably suggest is working well.
For sure. Why not?
But on that note, guys, we are out of time. But do check out Niche Website Builders. Check out Chris Palmer SEO on YouTube or just on Google, chrispalmermarketing.com or SEOmastermind.org, and just search for him and give him hassle, ask him questions, buy up his services and all that good stuff. And we will catch you guys all at the same time next week. But Chris, it's a pleasure as always, mate. Thank you.
See everyone next week. See ya.